Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of the Spark Moment podcast. I'm your host, Dev, writer, photographer, filmmaker, podcast host. And this week's episode, we're talking about starting before you're ready. This episode actually is our first solo episode of the season. I know we had the introduction episode, but this is the first actual episode where it's a full episode where we're talking on a specific topic. So yeah, welcome to the first solo episode. Like I said, this episode is going to be about the topic of starting before you're ready. And this is something I have seen multiple times. Something I've fallen victim to myself as well, and thinking that you need to wait for the perfect time or wait until you have the perfect gear or anything like that. And from firsthand experience, I can tell you right now, just starting is really the best thing you can do. You'll find that those things or those moments that you're waiting on, they just don't come. They rarely come. So if you're looking right now to get into anything, but you're holding yourself back right now because you feel like you're waiting on something, sometimes you just got to jump in, man. Like I said, this is something that I've experienced firsthand myself. When I first started my photography journey, I didn't have a camera. I didn't have a DSLR or mirrorless or anything like that. I just had my cell phone. So I just started taking photos with my cell phone, um, self portraits. So when I started taking those photos and posting them, they started to get a little traction or whatever. I spent a good maybe like 6-7 months before I actually bought a camera. But my photos that I was taking on my phone actually landed me a photography job, a professional photography job. So you talk about starting before you're ready. I had a photography job, photos that I wasn't even taking on a regular camera. When I actually applied for the job, I don't think I necessarily thought that I was going to get it. I kind of halfway hoped I was going to get it. But, I was still new. I was still trying to figure out if, it was something that I wanted to pursue for real. I know it was something I enjoyed doing, but I didn't know necessarily at the time if it was something that, I wanted to actually pursue. But I just kind of went out on a limb, applied for a job. And I know when I apply for the job, there's a question there where it's asking like a link to your portfolio. I didn't have a portfolio. Like I said, I was brand new to photography. I don't even think I really understood what a portfolio was, but I had my photos that I was taking on my Instagram. So, I linked my Instagram, and just off of those pictures alone, I was able to secure the job. So I think it was right there when I kind of realized like sometimes you just got to dive in. Like you got to just go for it and figure it out later. One of the best pieces of advice that I ever heard when I was starting out is the best equipment to use. In this case, it was photography. So it was like the best camera to use is the one that you already have. And that changed my whole perspective on jumping into things when it came to like things that I wanted to pursue. Ever since then, I really ran with that advice, I would say. Even if I don't have the best equipment, I still use what I have and then I figure it out later. And I think that's the best advice I could probably give someone that is hesitating because they're waiting on that perfect equipment, whatever it is to just dive into it using whatever you have and figure it out later. Because even when you do get that stuff, you're still going to go through a learning curve where you're going to be bad at it. If you're just starting out, you're going to be bad at it. My first couple years in photography, they were bad. I look back on my old work and, it wasn't horrible. Don't get me wrong. Like I wasn't like just ass at it, but knowing what I know now, I would have done things a lot differently. And you're going to go through that regardless of whatever whatever lane that you're going in, whether it's photography, whether it's dancing, whether it's, singing, whether it's, whatever it is, you're going to go through a learning curve. So don't even worry about what you're starting out with. All you need to worry about is starting out. And the lessons that I learned during that experience, like I said, was to just start. Also, just you got to grow. When you first start off, you're gonna be bad. You're gonna grow, and you're gonna get to a place eventually where you're gonna know exactly what you need. So, for instance, if you're a new photographer out there and you think that buying the newest, best camera out there and most expensive camera out there on the market is going to make you a good photographer, believe me, it's not. It won't. And I've seen it happen. People buy these cameras, and these cameras today are not cheap. I tell you, these cameras are like little small fortunes, man. And people buy them thinking that that's what they need to start, or thinking that's what they need to be good. I'm telling you right now, you don't. I've been using the same camera since I started 5 years ago. It works just fine. Trust me, it works just fine. I can outdo a lot of people that probably have better cameras than me, yet they don't know how to use it. So, and that's another thing too. When you get those big expensive cameras, you're not even going to know how to use it right away. And by the time you do, a new camera is already going to be out. So you just wasted your time and money on a new camera thinking that it was going to give you the best quality, and you wasted all that time not even knowing what to do. You wasted all that time trying to figure out the camera instead of actually using the camera. That makes sense. So I say the best thing to do is just start with what you have, and that's how you kind of build the fundamentals. It's like starting from step one. You got to start from step one regardless of what you do. Whatever you're starting with, start with the fundamentals, learn the basic things. And I keep using photography as an example. Or learn, shutter speed, learn ISO, learn aperture, learn your lightings, angles, all those stuff. All that stuff plays a big part into what makes a photo good. Not necessarily the camera, the megapixels, all that shit. I know, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even think I really know a lot of photographers that even pay attention to that type of stuff. It's just not that important for real. I mean, unless you're like, one of those pixel peepers. But I mean, it's just not that important as going out there, learning lighting, learning aperture, learning your camera first. What makes a good picture? So don't think that you need to have best gear or wait for the perfect timing. If I never would have started with my phone, I probably never would have went and invested in a camera. And I never probably would have started. And then I never would have became a professional photographer. So those perfect timings, they just don't happen. You just gotta go out there and do it. That's really the best advice that I can give is to just go out there and start it. I know a lot of people, let fear and stuff like that hold them back too as well. And maybe telling yourself that you need to wait on a certain thing to come out, or you need to wait on a certain time to happen, could be a way that you're letting your fears stop you from your passions or from your journey. Honestly, just say fuck it and figure it out later. That's really what you got to do. Just say fuck it, use what you got, and figure it out later. I think a big takeaway is, your first step doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be taken. So with that, I say just get out there, just start. Stop waiting on the perfect moment because it's not going to happen. Whatever you have right now is perfect for you to start. So if you're doing photography and all you have is a cell phone, use your cell phone. That's what I did. That's how I started. And it the my photography job took me across the country. So You just never know. So I think that, I think people need to stop having these like big grand ideas right away, right off the gate. I mean, it's good to dream, and have goals and ambitions to get there, but start small. Always start small, learn the fundamentals, take it one step at a time, and you will get there eventually. But nothing happens overnight. You got to pay your dues. You got to learn the fundamentals, and you got to just do it. You got to just start. You got to just take one foot in front of the other and just do it. So I don't care if you have the crappiest camera. So what? You got to start somewhere. So, I mean, let it be humble beginnings, laugh about it later, but like you just got to start. And yeah, so that's today's episode. Um, I hope that you guys got something from this. I hope that you get off your ass and stop worrying about what you don't have. Pay attention to what you do have. Get out there and start regardless. And yeah, shorter episode, these solo episodes, kind of straight to the point. But yeah, if you guys like this episode, go ahead and please give us a rating or review. Share this with a friend that may need to hear it. Keep liking, keep sharing on the Instagram page, the Spark Moment Podcast on Instagram. Feel free to DM me any questions you guys have or anything like that. Feel free to share your Spark Moment as well. And who knows, it might even, get a shout out on the episode. So appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thanks so much for listening to the Spark Moment Podcast. If this episode inspired you, make sure to follow the show so you don't miss a single spark. I'd love to hear what your spark moment was. You can share it with me on Instagram at the Spark Moment Podcast, or tag the show in your stories. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, please leave a rating and review. It really helps more people discover these stories. Until next time, keep chasing that spark.